What's up? What's up? What's up? Surprise, surprise. The end of the week and you made it. It's Q Quincy Phillips, the executive director of Lighthouse Building Back Better. And I'm really excited that this email, this video, this presentation finds you in a brave and safe and transparent place. And I want you to know that that's here. This Leader Cup is really about celebrating, centering, and connecting all the leaders of color across this region. And it really just takes a simple thing as something like this, being able to reach out and letting you all know that I see you, that I feel you, that I appreciate you. And so we're going to be lifting a cup of coffee to all of you to honor the work that you've done over your livelihood. Over your life, which was your livelihood. So that was a nice little slip, but it's on point, and I'm gonna keep that. I'm not gonna take this video or do this video over. I really want to just welcome you into an experience that will only get greater. And I want to pause and take a moment and center something around a cup of coffee and where it came from. Many of you know I created something called 100 Cups of Coffee, community engagement that was being used across the country. Great, cool. But really, I want you to understand where it came from. It came from the South Side of Chicago. It came from my church. It came from my pastor, Gerald January. When he saw the evolution, he saw the things that I was able to do and the path that I was on, he wanted to make sure that I always had a safe and brave space. And so he told me that if I ever needed him, to just text him a cup of coffee. And he'd make sure that he'd make that time within the hour to reach out and back to me and make sure that I was heard. And so I want to really extend that all to you as well. That's really where the cup of coffee comes from. That's where this elevated cup of coffee comes from. And that's where this leader's cup comes from. Leaders of color here throughout our region, Silicon Valley, 9-county Bay Area expanding. You know, all of you, we've been displaced, but we're still here. You all have been doing the great and amazing work, and I really want to honor you. And so as part of this, you will be receiving, especially if you hit me back, let me know that you self-identify as a person of color. I'll make sure that you have a Nirvana Soul cup of coffee on me. That's my word. So you let me know, I'll make sure, I'll be working with them, those my homies as well, to make sure that we make that happen. We'll also be having some other gifts and things all throughout the year. The beautiful thing about JEDI, Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, it's not a day, it's not a week, it's not a month. It's a livelihood, it's our livelihood. And this is something that will continue to extend from month to month. Return of the Jedi is real. There's a whole bunch that has been done. And we won't necessarily emulate that, but we'll bring our brand to this region that shows what Jedi mind tricks are about, what Jedi soul is about, and what the Jedis that you all are and have been are also about. So really, truly appreciate you. Some of you all may not even understand why you received this. Some of you may not self-identify as a person of color, but all colors are welcome. You know, and you received this because you all have taken some steps in leadership to show your allyship. Some of you all raise children of color. Some of you all are married or have a partner that is a person of color. Some of you all just care, right? Care enough to continue to mentor. That's why I didn't want you to miss this moment and miss this message as well. But I do want to be really targeted and intentional and say that this is for those leaders of color. My story is a transitional, story as well. Whether it was starting in the South Side of Chicago with Jesse Jackson, Harold Washington, the Chicago mayor, Eugene Sawyer, who was at our church and a board member who became the Chicago mayor after the untimely death of Mayor Harold Washington, Willie T. Barrow, just some amazing greats that I was able to come up and flourish and blossom, beyond because of them, because of their cultivation. And here's some of the things that I definitely want to bring, into this region and into this role. So the one thing that I also want to talk about, a little bit of an imposter syndrome. Some of us are out here, we're doing a whole bunch, we've heard it. I was lucky enough to experience that period of imposter syndrome when I was a freshman at Northwestern. Got there, thought that I was nice. 1 quarter later, I had a 1.7 GPA. Crazy. Never had anything but A's. Then I had a 1.7. Felt like I didn't belong. But then I opened my mouth, talked to some people, and they let me know that I belonged by showing that they cared. They created a safety net for me. Well, I was at Northwestern University and proudly purple, but it's more, the bigger reason behind that. I could have easily been gone. But there were some professors, there were some teachers that showed me the ropes. More importantly, I was the poor student at Northwestern. So I almost left Northwestern my freshman year because of the cost, because my parents couldn't afford to pay tuition. But I walked my behind into that bursar's office. I walked into the financial aid office. I found somebody willing to listen. That person ended up seeing me, going back, even returning money like the application fees. That was a true safety net. She saw me. Fast forward, senior year, her evolution, Northwestern, we think about safety net, we think about workforce development, we think about all of the economic mobility. My senior year, she was in the School of Engineering, McCormick. Right now, she's a dean at the McCormick School of Engineering at Northwestern University. So my safety net also showed me a true safety net and a true pipeline that would then take us beyond our biggest dreams. Someone that met me at my lowest point, I now get to meet her at our highest, and I see that ascension. And that person was not black. It's a white woman, and you know who you are. I don't want to call you out, but that showed me that we all belong, that we all face, a bit of turmoil, that we all face that time when we're not sure if we're enough. I'm letting you know y'all are enough. You are enough. You've been holding this region up. I came in. Thank you, Camille. Thank you so much, Mayfair, for seeing me, for allowing me to grow with you, to blossom with you. Milan, I see your leadership, man. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to do it. Walter, Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet, Cisse Puede Collective. So many of you are doing some amazing things across this region. Michelle, Health Trust, you've helped us out. Some of my other friends, Jess Ware, Gene Cohen, Jen Loving, so many of you that I now call my sister, now call my brother, now call my friend. This is what this is about. And I'm actually going to end this now because I need to introduce you all to a great friend of mine, someone that I call my big brother, someone we met in the streets of Harlem, really trying to do better for our community, someone that you now see in Steve Harvey, BET, so many amazing things. I tied to greatness. We did some things at UNCF where we had many, many young black brothers being able to tie a tie and then go through a whole transformation of what that meant and what that felt like. That's my brother, Dr. Alex Ellis. And Dr. Alex Ellis has some great stuff in store for you and some great words. But be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. This Jedi Week is the first of many more. And I'm not just saying the first in terms of an annual. No, you'll see me next month. You might see me a few times next month and in the months following. But I expect to also see you. So appreciate you all truly for holding us down, the soul of Silicon Valley, the heartbeat of the Bay. Thank you. Now to my brother, Dr. Alex Ellis. Thank you.
Thanks, Quincy, for that gracious introduction. And I salute you for the untiring work that you do to bring about equity and justice in your region. I am eternally grateful for the opportunity to speak to the soul of Silicon Valley in your first Jedi Week of 2022. As we stand in this first month of a new year, this is an epic moment as we pause to celebrate, to center, and to connect communities of color. Let me start by saying congratulations to every leader for your amazing and critical work that you're doing in Silicon Valley. See, when you're committed to this type of work, you don't do this to be recognized, but you do this because in your heart is a burning commitment to see lives improved and to ensure that those that are in marginalized parts of your community are seen, heard, and most of all included. But just because your head is down doing the work does not mean that your work is not worthy of being recognized and lauded for its intrinsic value added to the community. We see you, Michelle, and the work that you do with Health Trust and Manju at All Stars Helping Kids, not to mention Ann and Ariana at Silicon Valley Community Foundation. And let's not forget Milan. We know you're over there at the African Community Services Agency. And that's just to name a few. We celebrate you all for going the distance, for your long hours, for your resilience despite obstacles, and for your unwillingness to accept the word no. On behalf of all of the lives that have been impacted and will be impacted, we stop to say thank you. See, this work can sometimes be a thankless job, but trust me, it does not go unnoticed. The truth is, we live in a dark world, a world where all men and women are not treated equally. They don't all have access to equal pay, equal resources, equal opportunities. But that's why you do the work that you do, because you have reimagined a reality where economic freedom, career pathways, job opportunities, and accesses to resources will not be the exception, but will now become the standard. See, when you work toward that end, each of you hold up a candle in this very dark world. See, you all hold up a candle in the individual work that you accomplish in the community. And it is those lights that truly make a difference. You can truly feel me if the power has ever gone out in your house. Has that ever happened to anybody? See, if you light a candle, even the smallest of candles, the brilliance of that light can make a world of a difference. But the truth being said is that our true strength is in our ability to work together as partners and collaborators. See, working in your own silos only yields a measure of change in the community. But our effectiveness gets multiplied when we work together. That's the only way to scale and sustain the work. We must create a forum where best practices can be shared, for us to become aware what each other is doing, and so that therefore we can see exactly where there is potential for us to partner. Because if our end goal is for our community to advance, then we're really not concerned about who gets the credit. By bringing those candles together means those lights now become a torch. And the light of a torch is brighter, 100 times brighter than any one candle by itself. But that's the power of the collective. As the African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. See, this type of work can't be done overnight, but it necessitates that we lock arms and we join hands and we have singleness of heart and mind, and we do the work together over an extended period of time. See, torches aren't just used to carry light, but torches are also used to burn things down. See, we've got to use our efforts to burn down racial inequalities and racial disparities in our communities. Torches can clear a pathway. That's exactly what your collective efforts produce. They produce pathways to justice, equity, and inclusion for all. Torches are not held close to the chest, but rather they are held high because they are a source of light for all of those around. You've got to know that Lighthouse Building Back Better will be a beacon of light for all to see. See, I want to remind you that your work is bigger than you. As we move forward hand in hand, we will serve as an example of what's possible, not just in this region, but across the country as well. Finally, torches are meant to pass on. See, this trailblazing work has got to be passed on to the next generation of leaders so that we can continue this work. We cannot afford to just do this work alone, but I encourage you to bring other colleagues, even other young professionals, so that they can become a part of this legacy-driven work that is being done here in Silicon Valley. It is no coincidence that this month, January, is National Mentoring Month. See, mentorship is critical in this daunting work of community building. So today, the question becomes, who's gonna carry your torch? And I ask this because to ensure that as you're spending so much time doing the work, that you also make sure that your work gets left in good hands. Always remember this, that success without a successor is really no success at all. But keep passing the torch, leaders, because the world gets a lot brighter through the work that you do. May God bless you all.